This video is about famous Hollywood celebrities and people who passed away in February 2007 in the United States. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Janet Blair. She was born in April 1921 and she died in February 2007. Her age was 85 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death were complications from pneumonia. Janet Blair began her career as a singer and transitioned into acting in film, television, and stage. Blair's show business career began as a featured singer in Hal Camp Orchestra. She began her film career in 1941 under contract to Columbia Pictures. During the Second World War, she appeared as a pin-up girl in the March 1944 issue of Yanks, the Army Weekly magazine. Anna Nicole Smith. She was born in November 1967 and she died in February 2007. Her age was 39 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was accidental drug overdose. Anna Nicole Smith was a model and reality TV personality known for her bold image. She rose to fame in the 1990s as a guest model and Playboy playmate. Her life was marked by fame and tragedy. Smith's story remains a media fascination. Barbara McNair. She was born in March 1934 and she died in February 2007. Her age was 72 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was throat cancer. Barbara McNair was a glamorous vocalist and film and television actress. She appeared in movies and also hosted her own television show. McNair was a trailblazer for African American women in entertainment. Her voice and elegance captivated audiences. Bruce Bennett. He was born in May 1906 and he died in February 2007. His age was 100 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications of a broken hip. Bruce Bennett was an American film and television actor who was a college athlete in football and in intercollegiate and international track and field competitions. In 1928, he won the silver medal for the shot put at the Olympic Games in Amsterdam. Bennett's acting career in film and television spanned more than 40 years. Walker Edmiston. He was born in February 1926 and he died in February 2007. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cancer. Walker Edmiston was an actor known for voicing many cartoon and puppet characters, including Ernie the Keebler Elf in television commercials. He appeared in character roles on several television programs during the 1950s through the 1970s, including the Star Trek episode. He also starred in Gunsmoke, Mission Impossible, Knots Landing, Adam 12, The Bob Newhart Show, and The Dukes of Hazzard. Cardell Willis. He was born in August 1937 and he died in February 2007. His age was 69 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was stroke. Cardell Willis was a respected stand-up comedian known for mentoring emerging talents. Though not nationally famous, he was a mainstay in the Milwaukee comedy scenes. Willis was admired for his wit and warmth. His influence lived on in those he inspired. Mike Awesome. He was born in January 1965 and he died in February 2007. His age was 42 at the time of his death, and he took his own life. Michael Lee Alfonso, known as Mike Awesome, was an American professional wrestler best known for his appearances with ECW, WCW, and WWF and WWE. Peggy Gilbert. She was born in January 1905 and she died in February 2007. Her age was 102 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Peggy Gilbert was an American jazz saxophonist and band leader. In the 1930s and 1940s, Gilbert and her band performed in the most famous nightclubs in Hollywood, including the Coconut Grove. At one of these clubs, she met and fell in love with Kay Boyle, a vaudevillian and contortionist. Donnie Brooks. He was born in February 1936 and he died in February 2007. His age was 71 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Donnie Brooks was an American pop music singer. His first single, Little Sweetheart, received a lukewarm reception. but his March 1960 single Mission Bell on Era Records became a major hit. It peaked number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. His follow-up single, Dollhouse Round Robin, peaked at number 31 in December 1960. Brooks is a member of the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. Leroy Jenkins. He was born in March 1932 and he died in February 2007. His age was 74 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was lung cancer. Leroy Jenkins was an American composer, violinist, and violist. During the late 1970s, Jenkins performed and recorded with pianist-composer Anthony Davis and drummer Andrew Searle. In the early 1980s, he formed a band called Sting. The 1990s and 2000s saw a continuation of Jenkins' success as a composer. Frankie Lane. He was born in March 1913 and he died in February 2007. His age was 93 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart failure. Frankie Lane was a chart-topping singer with robust, passionate voice. He sold millions of records during the 1940s and 1960s. Known for Western themes, his song Rawhide became iconic. Lane's influence stretched across pop and jazz genres. Erich von Schmidt. He was born in May 1931 and he died in February 2007. His age was 75 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was stroke. Erich von Schmidt was a key figure in the 1960s folk revival. His blues-influenced style inspired contemporaries like Bob Dylan. He was also a visual artist. Von Schmidt's impact reached both music and art communities. Willie White. She was born in December 1939 and she died in February 2007. Her age was 67 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was pancreatic cancer. Willie White was a trailblazing African-American track and field star. She competed in 5 Olympic Games, a record for United States women. Later, she worked in public health and youth sports. White's legacy bridged athletics and activism. Harriet Woods. She was born in June 1927 and she died in February 2007. Her age was 79 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was leukemia. Harriet Woods was a groundbreaking politician in Missouri. She served as the state's first female lieutenant governor. Woods championed women's rights and labor issues. Her legacy includes advocacy for equal political representation. Charles Langford. He was born in December 1922 and he died in February 2007. His age was 84 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart failure. Charles Langford was an Alabama state senator who represented Rosa Parks in the famous civil rights case of the 1960s. Attorney Langford served in Alabama legislature as a state's representative, District 77, Montgomery County, from 1976 to 1983, and as a state senator, District 26, Montgomery County, from 1983 to 2002. Ken Kennedy. He was born in August 1945 and he died in February 2007. His age was 61 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cancer. Ken Kennedy was a pioneering computer scientist known for work in programming languages and compilers. A professor at Rice University, he championed high-performance computing. He influenced generations of software engineers. His work lives on in modern computing systems. Arthur M. Slender Jr. He was born in October 1917 and he died in February 2007. His age was 89 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. Arthur M. Slender Jr. was a renowned American historian and social critic. He served as a special assistant to President John F. Kennedy and authored several influential books, including the Pulitzer Prize-winning 1,000 Days. Slender passed away in New York City after a heart attack. Amir Bob. He was born in May 1924 and he died in February 2007. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Amir Bob was a distinguished American painter and professor of art. He specialized in regionalist and landscape paintings. His works were exhibited across the United States. Bob also left a legacy as a beloved art educator. Gene Snyder. He was born in January 1928 and he died in February 2007. His age was 79 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Gene Snyder was an American politician elected as a Republican to the United States House of Representatives from 2 different districts in his native Kentucky. Snyder secured federal funds to build a beltway around Louisville. For this reason, a portion of I-265 was named for him. The Federal Courthouse building in Louisville and a general aviation airport near Falmouth, Kentucky, K-62 also bear his name. Barbara Giddings. She was born in July 1932 and she died in February 2007. Her age was 74 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was breast cancer. Barbara Giddings was an American LGBTQ activist. She started the New York chapter of the Daughters of Pilatus in 1958, edited the national DOB magazine, the latter from 1963 to 1966, and worked closely with Frank Kennedy in 1960 on the first picket lines that brought attention to the ban on employment of gay people in the United States government, the largest employer of the country at the time. Charlie Norwood. He was born in July 1941 and he died in February 2007. His age was 65 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Charlie Norwood was an American politician who served as a Republican member of the United States House of Representatives from 1995 until his death in 2007. At the time of his death, Norwood was the representative of the 10th District of Georgia. Bruce Sam Madsker. He was born in February 1914 and he died in February 2007. His age was 93 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Bruce Madsker was a preeminent New Testament scholar, serving as the George L. Collard Professor Emeritus at Princeton Theological Seminary. He was renowned for his expertise in New Testament textual criticism. William Anderson. He was born in June 1921 and he died in February 2007. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was kidney failure. William Anderson was an officer in the United States Navy and a United States representative from Tennessee from 1965 to 1973. Anderson was selected by Admiral Hyman G. Rickover to be the second commanding officer of the first nuclear submarine to be placed into service, the USS Nautilus, and was its commander from 1957 to 1959. Bob Oxner. He was born in October 1916 and he died in February 2007. His age was 90 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Bob Oxner was an American comics artist known for both adventure comic strips and for superhero and humor comic books, primarily at DC Comics. Oxner's work in this field included The Adventures of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, and its successor, The Adventures of Jerry Lewis, The Adventures of Bob Hope, and many more. Robert Kingston. He was born in July 1928 and he died in February 2007. His age was 78 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from a fall. General Robert Kingston served as the first commander-in-chief of the United States Central Command. Known for his leadership and dedication, he had a distinguished military career. Kingston passed away due to complications from a fall. Ray Bears. He was born in August 1907 and he died in February 2007. His age was 99 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was pneumonia. Ray Bears was a major league catcher and longtime pitching coach. He was best known for his work with the Chicago White Sox. Bears influenced generations of pitchers. His near-century life left a deep imprint on baseball. Steve Barber. He was born in February 1938 and he died in February 2007. His age was 68 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was pneumonia. Steve Barber was a left-handed pitcher in Major League Baseball. He was the first Orioles pitcher to win 20 games in a season. Barber faced health issues during his career but left a strong legacy. He was remembered for his grit and fast ball. Hank Bauer, he was born in July 1922 and he died in February 2007. His age was 84 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cancer. Hank Bauer was a gritty, hard-nosed outfielder of the Yankees and later a World Series winning manager, known for leadership both on and off the field. He also served in the Second World War. Bauer's baseball legacy is steeped in toughness and teamwork. Dennis Johnson, he was born in September 1954 and he died in February 2007. His age was 52 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. Dennis Johnson was an American professional basketball player for the National Basketball Association, NBA Seattle Supersonics, Phoenix Suns, and Boston Celtics. He was a coach for the Los Angeles Clippers and an alumnus of Dominguez High School, Los Angeles Harbor College, and Pepperdine University. Lamar Lundy, he was born in April 1935 and he died in February 2007. His age was 71 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cancer and heart disease. Lamar Lundy was a prominent NFL defensive end, best known as a member of the Los Angeles Rams' fearsome, foursome defensive line in the 1960s. He played his entire 13-year career with the Rams and was celebrated for his athleticism and teamwork. Lundy passed away in his hometown of Richmond, Indiana after a long illness. Albby Nickel, he was born in December 1922 and he died in February 2007. His age was 84 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Albby Nickel was a standout tight end for the Pittsburgh Steelers, playing from 1947 to 1957, a University of Cincinnati alumnus. He was known for his reliable hands and consistent performance. Nickel passed away peacefully with his family by his side. Joe Edwards, he was born in December 1921 and he died in February 2007. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart problem. Joe Edwards was a cartoonist best known for his long work with Archie Comics. He created the popular character Lil Jinx. Edwards drew for several decades and influenced youth comics. His work brought joy to generations of readers. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.